My name is Ronnie Kihonge. I'm Alliance class of 2016. After finishing my Form 4, I got a straight A. Courtesy of that, I was able to join the Equity Leaders Program. Through the Equity Leaders Program, I was able to apply to a university in New Jersey, Princeton University. The thing with Alliance is that it has a really strong alumni network. So people who had cleared from Alliance in the previous years came back to our school and told us about these programs. They told us about the Equity Leaders Program. It is a program that takes the highest achieving students. For our year, since we are only 141 people with A's, they took all of us, and then they also took the highest performing students from every district that they are in. So it's basically a program that preps you on application to universities abroad, and they also place you for a branch internship in one of their equity branches all over the country. I applied to Rongai branch. For this branch internship at Rongai, I am on the ATM desk. I issue out ATMs, basically alternative banking channels. I'm in charge of that. So issuing out ATMs, helping people link their accounts to PayPal, basically making sure that people don't have to come to the bank to do their transactions. They can do it through other means.
Ronnie has been easy to bring up. He started his schooling at Orerai Primary School. He immediately was able to assimilate himself into the system, and actually he was even picked to be the class prefect, and he used to do very well in academics. He did not need much pushing. He was really focused. He really knew what he wanted to do, or his goal in life.
The thing with good performance, just like body workout or anything else, it has to do with consistency. I was consistent with my reading patterns ever since I was in Form 1. When it was time to go back to school, I actually put my best foot forward. Whether or not we had KCSE coming in the next 3 months or so, you just do your best at that particular time. Make sure that you get all the concepts, don't procrastinate things. I also worked hand in hand with my teachers because they basically know everything that you need to know that is going to come in KCSE. I was a good friend to many people who would actually build me in the sense of getting to understand new things that I hadn't understood. So it's basically consistency and working with other people, your teachers, friends, family. It's a journey that you take with so many people. You just don't do it alone. And above all is God to actually pay all the credits to, because it's courtesy of Him that I was able to grasp whatever I was reading, and also good health through my 4 years in high school.
I taught this young man business studies. He was our first academic captain. Why academic captain? It goes without saying. He was good in academics. And don't forget also here, he was also a prefect who did his work with a lot of diligence. A swimmer, he took part in co-curricular activities, and he combined well cognitive aspect and the psychomotor aspect of his development. He combined very well. I'm not surprised that he scored an A. For Ronnie Kaigua, it was expected. I mean, he was a good student, and he did a lot of combination of everything in his life well. This is a young man, he saved his pocket money, and by the time he was leaving the school, he had enough pocket money, to take care of him, over 40,000 shillings. That's a unique boy for us. He is a good example to the rest. That's Ronnie Kaigua for you.
What dream with Princeton is they are the best school in the world of economics. I am totally drawn to the business world. I hope that through my stay there, I'll be able to harness my business skills and hopefully in the near future become a multinational businessman. The application process to Princeton was really hectic because first they expect really high SAT scores from you. So that means that you'll spend about 16 hours out of your 24 hours a day prepping for SATs. I sat my SAT in October, got a 1480 out of 1600. Then after that there was still the SAT2, which are subject tests. I did mathematics, chemistry and biology. I also aced those. So I really have to put in a lot of work to give them material that they would actually like and consider you for admission. So yeah, all this culminated in November, where I came back home. Then on December 13th, I remember, that was when the results were due to come out. And they would come out at around 1 a.m. I went to bed at around 11 p.m. And of course, my stomach was all butterflies and I couldn't sleep. I just kept tossing and turning. Then one reached and I checked my emails and there was no email. Two reached, I checked my email, no email, and I got so restless. Then I actually called one of the administrators and they told me to check on their portal, that I shouldn't wait for an email. So I went to their portal and I saw, congratulations Ronnie, you have been admitted to the Princeton class of 2022. And I was so happy, I actually screamed, went and woke up my parents, showed them the good news. And yeah, it was a wonderful feeling.
Ronnie is not only my brother, but also a very good friend of mine. He's the guy I go to when maybe I have an issue, or he's also my bank, one or another. But yeah, Ronnie and I are very good friends. Whenever he needed my help, of course, I always came through for him. I was always there for him. I was always there to tell him. Some of these things you don't fret, you know. If it's education, maybe a subject is challenging, you just do your level best. And being the smart guy he is, for him I always found if he did his best, he always had a way of maneuvering through the subject. So I am one very proud sister. I always encouraged him apply for universities abroad. Even when he was doing his KCSE, I told him, ensure you do your best, get that A, so that when you're applying for universities abroad, it's even going to be easier. And I'm very glad he listened to me. As he goes out there, I always tell him he's a genius, so I can just tell him to go prove to the world why people in Kenya consider him a genius. I would want to see him become a trailblazer. I know my brother to be, he was the first academics captain in his school, so I know my brother to be a pioneer of things, you know. So I want him, when he comes back to Kenya, he brings his genius mind, he shows the people, you know what, these things aren't as difficult as we think, or rather as we have grown up to believe they're difficult, be it business. I just wish he can just, you know, come back to Kenya and show people exactly how those things are done.
At Princeton, I hope to study economics, following my passion for business. I've noticed that in Africa or in Kenya, about 80% of startups usually fail in, say, about the first 5 years. So I'm hoping that with the skills I'll have gotten in economics, alongside having my own businesses, I plan to develop a consultancy where I'll be able to give advice to startups and help reduce the mortality rate for these startups. And I hope that I'll be able to see Kenya grow in its business sector, not only the large businesses, but also small and medium enterprises. My role model in the business world is Mark Zuckerberg. I read his book, The Facebook Effect, and he says about how he didn't give up on his startup. Angel investors were willing to put in so much money into this business that he was building up. They actually wanted him to sell it to them. But Zuckerberg didn't really look at the money that was involved. He went ahead to stick with his startup. And that is why Facebook has grown to what we know it is today. In life, my role model is my mom. She's the most loving person I know. And I basically aspire to be able to give out so much love to other people. She has such a warm heart, really kind in all her words. So yeah, my mom is my role model. As millennials, we have a big problem. We all have these really huge dreams, but nobody is willing to actually go out and put in the work in it. We all just want to lay in bed, binge on series, movies. We don't want to put in the work. We forget that all these big dreams that we have are going to be achieved through the work of our hands. If you have a dream that you're so passionate about, be consistent in trying to achieve it. So in whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're an artist, a scholar, never look at where you're coming from. Don't let your background put you down. Just know that you're destined for great things, and with consistency, with hard work, with discipline, you're definitely going to achieve your goals.